Man, does it feel good to sin? Some of you probably thinking, what? Is he a man of God? Why are you saying that? Because it's real. It's real. It feels good to sin in the flesh. It feels good to do what you want. It feels good to curse somebody out who gets on your nerves. Stay angry. Stay bitter. F him, F her, blah, blah, blah. Feels good to maybe take someone's money, take advantage of them financially. More money for you, right? It feels good to get, all the girls you want, the guys you want, and sexually do whatever you want with them. Feels good, huh? Feels good to cut corners in life and cheat and get ahead and move ahead quickly, and even if it means you gotta, stomp on other people along the way and cheat. It feels good. But often, the temporary, shallow pleasures of sin bring long and deep pain of sin. And one thing I love about the Bible, it's real. I want to share one verse with you to show the realness of this. Hebrews 11 verse 25. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. And to deny yourself, that hurts. That's suffering. We think about suffering, people think about physical abuse and financial oppression and emotional abuse, hard to find a job, hard to find housing, hard to get food, hard to pay your bills, mental anguish. People think about suffering, usually people think about that, but there's a suffering that many people are oblivious to. The suffering to live pure when you want to live impure. And a part of you doesn't want to do that. Living pure in the midst of impurity. People, I grew up in the hood, and around the drug dealers, around the people shooting people and prostitutes, and I seen something, heard some things, knowing about people who have been in certain things, around the gangs, been in fights, all that. Seen a rough side of things. And it takes power to be around that but not be immersed in that. Come on. How many of you know you made some choices in life that you later regretted? Why is that? Because in the moment it seemed right. It felt pleasurable, it seemed okay. Maybe got some gratifications from it. But afterwards, man, why did I do that? Why? And many people start with money. This is the kind of world where people will do whatever for money. They will lie, manipulate, cheat, because they focus on selfishness. I want more. I want this. I want that. Me. And there's people who have done bad things, murders, manipulation, lying, scandaling, so much things for money that many have looked back. You say, why'd I do that? They've lost friendships over it. They've known people who got killed over it. Maybe that person was you. Maybe it was you. Maybe you know somebody who almost lost their life because they were trying to cut corners with money. People have been in prison, incarcerated, because they cutting corners with money because of an obsession over it, lying over it. People who are kids and adults lie about, did you take this amount of money? No, I didn't do it. Then they get caught and they get in more trouble because they lied about it because of selfishness and that obsession with getting this money because I can get a certain thing that I want. Right? Yeah, in this world is people do horrendous things, violent things because of greed, obsession. We want all the money, we want all this. Scammers around here. And a lot of them have gotten caught. And the rest of their life is in prison because of obsessing with money. Yet in a moment it seemed nice. It was temporary. It was shallow. And it led to the rest of life pain. Deep pain. Got people like R. Kelly in prison. Diddy in prison. Bernie Madoff who died in prison. All that people because they did things for pleasure, for self, and then eventually caught up with them. I'm sure they thought they would never get caught. I'm sure they thought they could just want some hush money or whatever. They wouldn't get caught, but they eventually did. Sex. Oh. People go for, sex with whoever they want and whatever. She looks good, he looks good, she got some money, you got this, you got that. Yet end up with regrets. Because they are focused on body counts, pleasure, over substance and character and depth. So you end up with somebody for a while, things okay for a while, maybe having sex, they're doing this, they're doing that, but then it doesn't work out. They find things out. They put pleasure over connection, pleasure over power and purpose. Now they're fighting over the money and kids and in-laws and lack of intimacy and lack of vulnerability, lack of true love now, long term now. Now they got regrets. Temporary, because you got with somebody for money, and now that faded out, that phased out. Now you got regrets. People get into adulterous relationships and they cheat on their spouse, and then the spouse finds out, they lose everything, divorce, fighting with their spouse, and they're dealing with the kids now, and because they said yes to some pleasurable comment on social media or pleasurable comment from a coworker or whatever, that DM, and they didn't shut it down. Oh, they didn't shut it down. They turned up. They didn't shut it down when opportunity presented itself. When danger was all over the place, and it led to that temporary short pain led to pain. When I got to deal with alimony, child support, and dealing with division of assets and all that heartache and pain because of what seemed so pleasurable, yet it was so temporary, so shallow. It's a long pain. And cursed women or prostitutes, men or pimps, and a lot of them committed suicide. It didn't bring fulfillment. You brought a lot of money, brought a lot of attention for a while, but they're not fulfilled. Go to alcohol, they're druggies, and they end up just taking their lives. Temporary pleasure, but long-term pain. And speaking of attention, I mentioned about attention. A lot of people do things for attention. They diminish themselves. They become who they really don't want to be, or they switch up for people's attention, for the applause of people, to put on the image to get their attention, to get endorsements, resources, stages. But deep within, they are depressed, not fulfilled, mad at themselves. And that's what you hear a lot of people commit suicide. A lot of celebrities, famous people, shocked. Why? And different reasons. But could it be, for many of them, some of them, they put on a persona, an image that they didn't really want to be, because they wanted to impress that one and that one and that one. They behaved like, acted like, spoke like what they wanted them to be. But deep within, they were not happy with themselves. They were displeased with themselves, unhappy. And they say, you know what, I've had enough. End their lives. So never sacrifice long, deep purpose and satisfaction for the temporary, short-term pain of sin. Sin is pleasurable for a moment, it's pleasurable, but it leads to death. It leads to that every single time. Destruction. All right, y'all. God bless you. Love you.